Vicky Loredo, and today I'll be talking to you about chlamydia trachomatis, commonly just known as chlamydia, or in a lot of cases, the silent disease. It is the most common but curable type of sexually transmitted disease or infections. Chlamydia is most commonly spread through vaginal, oral, or anal sex. It is known as a silent disease because in the early stages of it, there is pretty much minimum to no type of symptoms at all. Of course, eventually left untreated, symptoms start showing, such as pain with urination, burning, pain during sexual intercourse, strong odor, discharge, and it is more common usually around early teenage years, such as 15 years old or so, up into the late 20s, and unfortunately, it's more common for females to have it than males. It can also lead to pelvic inflammatory disease, and since it shows no symptoms of it, it can eventually cause permanent damage to your uterus, to your fallopian tubes. It can be a really, really large factor in infertility or ectopic pregnancies as well. With men, untreated chlamydia usually doesn't have any permanent damage. It's just really painful. Of course, they'll have pain during urination, but nothing really permanent, and especially nothing has pinpointed yet to where it leads to infertility for men. Chlamydia is a parasitic organism. It cannot generate on its own. It needs its own media to live and requires other cells. It has two shapes, and it's really just based on the stage that it is in. And it is known as a gram-negative bacteria. It's considered a gram-negative organism because it contains an outer membrane, but it also lacks it also lacks in the cell wall. But it is an aerobic obligate intracellular parasite of eukaryotic cells. Like I said earlier, without a host organism, it cannot survive because it cannot synthesize its own ATP. The life of the chlamydia, it's up to 48 to 72 hours usually, but the reason why it lasts so long, it's because it replicates itself within the first few hours. There's two stages of it. One of them is the elementary body, and then the second stage is the reticulate body. So here I'm just showing sort of the stage, sort of some information. The colonies form after bacteria attaches to the salicylic acid receptors, and like I said earlier, it lacks in the cell wall. It has a cystine, which is a rich protein layer, and it allows a unique structure, intracellular division, and extracellular survival. Here I was able to find a picture where it shows the life cycle from the beginning, where, like I said, it starts off as an elementary body, and within the first couple of hours it turns to this, and eventually it just keeps replicating itself And I was able to find some pictures under the microscope on how it could look like. And like I was explaining it earlier, it is more common for females to have it, unfortunately. And I tried to find a way to explain how it spread. Because obviously we're older, we know how it is spread, but I figured I would make a chart kind of explaining how easily it is to spread it. So here I was able to make a chart just kind of explaining how by choosing to sleep with, a male that is infected, let's just say that male has two partners, this female has another partner after him. He ends up sleeping, with four females. You gotta think about who they're gonna sleep with eventually. Same as over here. And unfortunately nowadays a lot of men, choose to sleep with the same sex and the opposite sex as well. So it's just kind of showing you how easily one person can infect all of these people if none of these people go to get, tested regularly, or if they choose to not practice safe sex, or just how easily all of these people can get infected because of this one person that started it all. It goes, some people are thinking they're in a monogamous relationship, and their partner isn't, or some people just choose to have multiple partners. So it just kind of tries to explain how easily it can be spread just by one person. All of these people here, 20 people, are infected. And fortunately, the good thing about it is that it is easily curable with the proper antibiotics. I believe right now, from the research I did, there is two different type of ways. There's an antibiotic that it's for 1 day. There's one that's for 7 days. Just depending on what you're prescribed. But of course, you would have to stay away from having any type of sexual activities. Make sure your partner gets checked to prevent the spread of the infection yet again, and just to make sure you don't get reinfected again. While while being left untreated, you are more open to having more sexual diseases such as gonorrhea, and even up to HIV, which of course we know leads to AIDS. For pregnant women, it can cause early birth, low birth weight. It can cause neonatal blindness. It can even give babies pneumonia, because they can catch it through the vaginal canal upon birth. It has actually been led to some arthritis, and of course a pelvic inflammatory disease. And it can actually lead up to a lot of other things. And like I said, prevention, abstinence, condoms, loyal monogamous relationships, regular checkups, or for expecting mothers, cesarean birth, and of course, obviously, getting treated for it would help a lot during birth. And I was actually able to find that there is a lot of natural remedies as well, but of course, it is 100% better for you to just go to the doctor and get prescribed something strong, an antibiotic, but there has been research now where there are natural remedies, natural herbs that can cure it. It'll automatically help your immune system get it out and cure it, and your body will cure it.